When you choose a dream, really choose it, you make a promise to yourself. Not to be perfect, not to have it all figured out, but to show up every single day with the belief that you can become the person you imagine. That promise becomes your compass. It guides you when things get overwhelming, when people underestimate you, and when you start to question whether you're aiming too high. But here's the truth no one tells you: chasing a dream isn't just about ambition. It's about protecting your energy. Your focus is a fragile thing. People will to pull it in 100 directions, some out of love, some out of doubt, and some simply because they don't understand what you see for yourself. And that's okay. Not everyone will understand your vision. It wasn't meant for them. The moment you decide to pursue a dream, something shifts inside you. It's almost like drawing an invisible line in the sand and stepping over it, quietly telling yourself, I'm going to try. But here's where most people get confused. They think dreams become real when someone gives them permission. Permission to begin. Permission to believe in themselves. Permission to take up space. But your dream never needed anyone's approval. It needed your discipline. It needed you to choose it, protect it, and work for it long before anyone else could see what you were building. There's a certain kind of loneliness that comes with dreaming big, especially when the dream isn't practical or expected, or when it forces you to stand out in ways that feel vulnerable. People around you may smile, but not everyone will understand why you're working so hard for something that isn't guaranteed. Some might question your choices, others might doubt your ability, and a few may try to pull you back into the safety of what's familiar because they're scared for you, or sometimes scared of what your courage reminds them they haven't tried. If you're not careful, these voices can slowly chip away at the belief you've been building. That's where discipline becomes your anchor. Discipline is what you fall back on when motivation fades. Discipline is what keeps you working when you're tired, frustrated, or overwhelmed. It's the early mornings, the late nights, the hours spent practicing, improving, failing, learning, and trying again. It's the choices you make when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, and when no one even knows what you're fighting for. Those choices shape you more than any praise ever could. The truth is, discipline isn't glamorous. It's not the exciting part of the journey. It's the quiet part. The repetitive part. The part where you feel like nothing is changing and everything is slow, but little by little it builds you into someone stronger. Not just someone who wants the dream, but someone capable of holding it. That's the part most people don't see. They see the results, not the sacrifice. They see the milestone, not the miles. And discipline doesn't just build skill, it builds identity. Every day that you show up, even when it's hard, you're teaching yourself that your dreams matter. You're telling yourself that you believe in the future you're trying to create. You're shaping your own character piece by piece, learning to trust yourself, your instincts, and your work ethic. There's nothing more powerful than trusting yourself, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in a consistent, steady, unshakable way. But to stay disciplined, you also have to be honest with yourself. You can't chase a dream halfway. You can't expect progress when you're giving yourself excuses. You can't grow if you're constantly comparing your timeline to someone else's or waiting for praise before you take the next step. Dreams don't unfold on a schedule, and they don't reward the half-committed. They reward the persistent, the resilient, the ones who show up because quitting simply isn't an option they allow themselves to consider. There will be days when the dream feels far away. Days when you question whether you're meant for it. Days when you're tired of trying. Those moments matter. They're the turning points because Each time you choose to keep going, you reinforce a truth that becomes part of you, that your dream is worth the effort, and so are you. The longer you commit to the work, the more you realize that discipline isn't about forcing perfection. It's about showing up with intention, day after day, trusting that the effort you invest now is shaping something meaningful for later. It's the quiet courage of believing in what you're becoming, not just what you want. And that's why your dream doesn't need permission. It never did. It needs your drive, your discipline, your willingness to keep going, even when the world is silent, even when the path is uncertain, even when your own doubts try to trip you up. Your dream grows in the space between who you are today and who you're fighting to become. Discipline is what bridges that gap. Protecting your space is one of the most powerful choices you can make when you're building a dream. It sounds simple, almost quiet, but it's the foundation for everything else. Your focus, your motivation, your confidence, your clarity. Not everyone in your life is meant to walk beside you on your journey, and not everyone deserves access to your energy. This isn't about shutting people out. It's about understanding that your growth requires intention. The people you let close to you influence your mindset more than you may realize, and when you're trying to build something meaningful, you can't afford to let the wrong voices shape your inner world. There will always be people who misunderstand your ambition. Some will question your choices because they don't understand your dream. Some will try to make you smaller because it makes them more comfortable. And there will be people who drain your energy without even meaning to. They're stuck in their own fears, their own limitations, their own frustrations, and they project those things onto you. If you're not careful, all that negativity, doubt, and noise can creep into your thoughts. It can make you hesitate, make you question whether pursuing something big is worth the effort or whether you're dreaming too big. But you're not. You're simply surrounded by the wrong feedback. That's why protecting your space is essential. Your energy is a finite resource. You can't expect to grow if you're constantly giving your power away, trying to please everyone, trying to prove yourself to people who don't want to understand, or trying to justify your ambition to those who can't imagine anything beyond their own comfort zone. You don't owe anyone a presentation about why your dream matters. You don't need validation to choose yourself, and you don't need to carry the weight of everyone's opinions on your back. There's a maturity that comes with realizing that not everyone gets to stay in your life forever. Some people are meant to be temporary. Some are meant to teach you something. Some are meant to challenge you. But only a few are meant to stay close. When you're protecting your energy, you start becoming much more selective. You begin to notice who supports your growth and who resists it. You hear the difference between someone giving you advice from love and someone speaking from fear. You feel the difference between someone who fills your spirit and someone who drains it. And once you feel those differences deeply, you start choosing more intentionally. Protecting your space doesn't require dramatic exits or harsh confrontations. Sometimes it just means quietly shifting your boundaries, answering fewer calls, creating more distance, spending less time around people who dampen your spirit. It means prioritizing the environments where you feel encouraged and seen. It means spending your limited energy on people and experiences that strengthen you instead of weakening you. It means giving yourself permission to grow without needing everyone to come with you. And here's the surprising thing you learn when you start protecting your space. Your mind becomes clearer. You start listening to your intuition again. You start feeling lighter, more focused, more aligned with who you want to be. You start noticing opportunities you couldn't see before because you were too busy carrying the weight of other people's expectations. You start realizing how much of your emotional energy was being wasted on things that didn't deserve it. Suddenly, your dream feels more attainable, not because it changed, but because you finally created the environment it needs to grow. You also begin to see the value of people who truly support you. They don't compete with you or doubt you or pull you off your path. They cheer for you. They push you to step into your potential. They remind you of your strengths on the days when you forget. They don't need you to be perfect, but they expect you to keep trying. Those are the people who get access. Those are the ones who get your time, your energy, your heart. Protecting your space is an act of self-respect. It's you saying, my dreams matter, my peace matters, my growth matters. And once you start living from that place, everything in your life begins to shift. Your choices get clearer, your focus strengthens, your confidence grows. You stop apologizing for wanting more. And you recognize that the energy you protect becomes the power you use to build your future. There's a moment in every journey where you realize that doubt, whether it comes from others or from inside yourself, can be loud, distracting, and sometimes even painful, but it doesn't have to define you. What truly defines you is how you respond to that doubt. Hard work isn't glamorous, and it isn't always celebrated. Most of it happens when no one is watching, when no one is applauding, when no one even knows how much effort you're pouring into something that still feels uncertain. But that effort, those small, unglamorous repetitions, that quiet commitment you make to yourself every single day, that's what builds real strength. That's what shapes your confidence. That's what makes the noise of doubt fade into the background. People will underestimate you. They'll see where you are now and assume that is the limit of your potential. They'll project their fears or insecurities onto your goals, not because they are trying to sabotage you, but because they can't imagine themselves doing what you're trying to do. That's why their doubts can't be your compass. Their limitations aren't yours. You don't have to convince anyone to believe in you. You don't have to defend your ambition or explain why your dream matters. You only need to work, to show up, to build the skills, the discipline, and the resilience that slowly turn a dream into reality. Your consistency will speak on your behalf in a way words never will. Hard work is quiet power. It's the kind of power that doesn't require attention or applause to grow. It's built in early mornings when you're tired, late nights when you feel stretched thin, and in those long in between hours where progress is invisible. It's built in moments of frustration when things aren't working, when you feel stuck, when doubt whispers in your ear that maybe you're not enough. And it's built in the decision to push through anyway. That decision, repeated many times, becomes strength. Over time, that strength becomes undeniable. There's something freeing about choosing effort over approval. When you stop seeking permission and start embracing the grind, you become unstoppable. You stop worrying about whether you're moving fast enough or whether you're good enough. You focus on improving, not impressing. You start caring more about the quality of your work than the opinions surrounding it. And that is where real growth begins. Slowly, quietly, you become the kind of person whose results speak for themselves. People notice hard work eventually, even if they don't acknowledge it right away. They'll see the transformation. They'll see the skills you've sharpened, the confidence you've built, the progress you've made. They'll see how far you've come and assume it happened overnight. They'll call it talent or luck, but you'll know the truth. It was effort. It was dedication. It was every moment you kept going when others would have stopped. Hard work creates a kind of momentum that can't be faked and can't be taken away. It's yours. You earned it. And the beautiful thing about working hard is that it quiets doubt not through argument, but through action. When you're immersed in the process of improving, you don't have time to obsess over every negative comment or every insecure thought. You stop giving energy to things that don't matter. Your focus sharpens. Your self-belief grows. You start trusting yourself more because you're proving to yourself day after day that you can do hard things, that you can learn, that you can grow, that you can get better, that trust becomes a foundation you can always rely on. Doubt doesn't disappear completely. It just loses its power. When you pour your energy into effort instead of insecurity, the uncertainty becomes quieter. It still exists, but it no longer controls you. You begin to realize that you don't need to eliminate doubt to succeed. You just need to outwork it. You need to show up with more determination than fear, more consistency than hesitation, more patience than frustration. Hard work is the greatest form of self-advocacy. It's you proving to yourself that you are worthy of the dream you envision. It's you becoming the version of yourself capable of holding that dream. It's you choosing growth over comfort, purpose over fear, and progress over perfection. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll look back and see that all those moments of quiet effort added up. They became the reason you kept moving forward. They became the voice louder than doubt. And they became the undeniable truth that your hard work was always enough. Staying grounded while staying hungry is one of the most delicate balances you'll ever learn to master. But it's also one of the most powerful. When you're chasing a dream, it's easy to get swept up in the rush of wanting more success, more progress, more recognition, more proof that you're on the right path. But what keeps you steady, what keeps you aligned with your purpose, is remembering who you are at your core. Staying grounded doesn't mean lowering your expectations or shrinking your ambition. It means holding onto the values, the humility, and the authenticity that make your dream meaningful in the first place. It's the reminder that your worth isn't defined by achievements, but by the heart and honesty you put into your work. At the same time, staying hungry means never settling. It means waking up every day with a fire in your chest that pushes you to go further than yesterday, not because you're unsatisfied with what you have, but because you know you're capable of more. It's about refusing to let comfort dull your ambition. The moment you believe you've made it, you stop growing. Hunger is what keeps you evolving, learning, stretching, and reaching for the next version of yourself, the version who's stronger, wiser, and braver than the one before. Hunger is the quiet voice that says, keep going, even when things are good, even when people tell you to slow down, even when the world thinks you've done enough. But hunger without grounding can leave you lost. It can make you chase validation instead of fulfillment. It can make you attach your identity to milestones, followers, or applause. It can make every setback feel like a personal failure instead of a chance to grow. That's why grounding yourself is essential. It reminds you that your dream isn't about how others see you. It's about how deeply you believe in your own purpose. It keeps you connected to the version of yourself who started this journey, the version who wasn't trying to impress anyone, but simply wanted to create something that felt true. Staying grounded also means staying grateful. It means taking a moment to appreciate the progress you've made, even if it's not where you ultimately want to be. It means noticing the small wins, the lessons, the connections, the opportunities that are shaping your path. Gratitude keeps you humble. It keeps you human. It keeps you from losing yourself in the constant pressure to achieve. It reminds you that every step, even the slow ones, holds value. At the same time, staying grounded doesn't mean staying small. You can be humble and ambitious at the same time. You can be grateful and still want more. You can honor where you are and still push toward where you want to go. These things aren't contradictions, they're companions. Hunger gives you the drive, grounding gives you direction, and then there's the most important parts, staying you. When you enter a world where people have opinions about your path, where expectations try to mold you, where comparison is everywhere, it becomes incredibly easy to lose your sense of self. You start shaping your choices around what will be accepted instead of what feels right. You start measuring your worth by someone else's standards. You start forgetting that your uniqueness, not your perfection, is what makes your story powerful. Staying you means protecting your authenticity. It means trusting your instincts even when they go against what's popular. It means showing up as your real self, not the polished version you think others want. It means being honest about your fears, your strengths, your boundaries, and your dreams. When you stay you, your journey becomes sustainable. You're not pretending, you're not performing. You're creating a path that fits who you truly are, not who the world tries to turn you into. And when you combine all three, being grounded, being hungry, and being yourself, you become unstoppable. You don't get distracted by ego. You don't get discouraged by obstacles. You don't get lost in the noise of other people's expectations. You keep moving forward with clarity and purpose. You know what matters, you know what drives you, and you know who you are. One day, when you look back, you won't just be proud of what you achieved. You'll be proud of the person you became in the process. Not someone fueled by pressure or fear or comparison, but someone who stayed steady, stayed passionate, and stayed true. Someone who protected their foundation while still reaching for the sky. Someone who kept their heart in the journey, not just their ambition. And that's the real victory.